time of writing this forward, we are halfway through filming, and I am thrilled with what we have achieved. A period drama that feels utterly fresh and modern. Jane Austen, but not as you knew her. Chapter 1. 1819. It was a spring day that whispered of a fine summer to come, the flowers chancing to open themselves up and the mild air scented with possibility. On the green slopes above the tiny hamlet of Willingden, Charlotte Heywood was leading an assortment of her brothers and sisters on a walk. The rain of the previous days had prevented any exercise and, as the eldest of 12 lively offspring, she was excessively glad to be out of the house. The walk undertaken, but none yet willing to go back indoors, they decided to take their rest in the long grass. The gentle countryside rolled away from them in all directions, peaceful and luxuriously green. It was so wonderfully quiet. The children becalmed after their excursions. The bright bird song only distant, that Charlotte could hear the soft breeze sighing through every blade of grass. She ran her free hand through it, marvelling at its springiness, the other hand occupied by the gun tucked expertly into the nook of her shoulder. She was just wondering how she might occupy herself for the rest of the day when a small movement caught her eye. Just below the gathering of Heywoods were 2 rabbits, white tails flashing as they nibbled the clover. In a single, fluid motion, Charlotte stood up, shifted her grip on the gun, and took aim. "Look!" cried her sister Alison at the same moment, gesturing towards the rabbits, who immediately turned tail and vanished into the scrub. Charlotte, much irritated, was about to make a cutting remark when something more diverting caught her eye. 2 horses, the sweat on their flanks visible even from the remove, were struggling to pull a carriage up the steep and twisting lane that served as Willingden's only road. That anyone should attempt this was so unusual that all the Heywoods were soon on their feet, to better observe the spectacle. As they watched, the carriage, which had already slowed considerably, began to list, then lurch, and finally toppled over on its side with a resounding crash. Charlotte hitched up her skirt. "Quick, Alison! Quickly, boys!" As they hurried down the hill, more Heywood children, alerted by the racket, poured forth from the house as though there might be no end to them. None could hide their glee at this unexpected turn of events, for Willingden was a very out-of-the-way sort of place. What was surely a misfortune for the occupants of the carriage was already proving great entertainment for the younger Heywoods. When Charlotte reached the bottom of the slope, the coachman was already up and busy trying to calm the distressed horses. There was as yet no sign of the carriage's occupants, but as she drew closer, the door, which was now facing skywards, opened up. A gentleman's head and shoulders emerged. He looked about him with keen, darting eyes as though enthusiasm and interest might be mustered even from the most alarming incident. "Here we are!" he cried with admirable cheer. "No harm done. Give me your hand, my love," he said to his yet unseen companion, who was still ensconced in the stricken carriage. "We'll soon have you out." Without further delay, Charlotte scrambled up onto the carriage to offer her assistance. Her sister, always more mindful of propriety, was shocked. "Charlotte, what are you doing?" she exclaimed. "Steady," said Charlotte, ignoring Alison and addressing the carriage's female occupant. "Take my hand." The lady, with Charlotte's help, pulled herself clear and landed very tidily on the road, her fair hair only slightly disarranged. "Thank you," she said, smiling, her demeanour quite as good-natured as the gentleman's now she was rescued. "You are very kind and very brave to risk yourself." Charlotte smiled back, dark eyes sparkling. "Not at all, Ma'am. This is the most exciting thing to happen in Willingden for years." "There we are," said the gentleman from his precarious perch.